Stop dieting after 50 and do these 5 things instead in 2025. Hi, my name is Daphne, and I'm the face behind Ageless After 50. And I'm about to share with you 5 secrets that I personally use after I reached the age of 50 to not only lose more weight without dieting, but to also be the most strongest, healthiest, and leanest that I've ever been. So be sure to stay tuned for number 1 because it's a complete game changer. So, starting off with number 5, and that is to add strategic supplements. So, what do I mean by strategic? This means you need to get blood lab work. Go to your primary care and take a look at lab results and see what you are actually deficient in. A lot of people online, whether it be TikTok, YouTube, whatever, want to sell you supplements that you probably don't even need, and you may be in danger of over supplementation. I don't even know if that's a word, but let me cook. Your body needs what your body needs, and sometimes you just can't get it through food, especially the food that we have today, simply because the ground and the soil that our food is made in just doesn't have it anymore like it did back in the day. I'm over the age of 50, so if I'm talking to you, you know what I'm talking about. The food that we grew up on was very nutrient dense because the soil was nutrient dense. But because now with the growth of GMOs and mass production and all that, our food just isn't the same as it was 30, 40 years ago. So with that said, and sometimes I will circle the airport, but I do land the plane. You may need supplements that you simply cannot get from food. And the only way you'll know which ones you specifically need for your body is through lab work. And your lab work specifically saying you need this, this, and this. I won't know that. And this person over there, that video over there, or this TikTok over there won't know that unless they are specifically looking at your lab results. This is a conversation between you and your physician. So case in point, when I went for my lab results, I have a persistent problem with anemia. And it was to the point where I was getting iron infusions for a very, very long time. I also had deficiency in magnesium, in vitamin C, and also potassium. And potassium is a very dangerous deficiency. Like, that's life-threatening. I don't know if you knew that, but you found out here first today. So once I found that out, I found the correct supplements to get that. And PSA, gummy vitamins is a no. Don't do that. Don't do gummy vitamins. They're filled with sugar and nonsense, and they cannot get the ratios correct to balance that sugar and gel. So if you're going to take do your research first. And I'm not selling you anything here. I'm sharing my knowledge with you. So add strategic supplements, the ones that you need. And you don't know which ones you need until you see your own lab results that show you which ones you're deficient in. Now, if you're not deficient in any supplements, then you're fine. You probably can get away with the multivitamin, which is great. But once you reach over the age of 50, something tells me that's usually not the case. Most times we're deficient in D3 and magnesium, especially ladies. That's usually our dog whistle. So I'm moving on to number 4. Number 4 should have been number 1, but man, let me tell you, number 4 changed my life. Strength training. Now, I used to be the cardio queen for 20 years. I stayed in the gym. I have a gym in my house. I have a pre-core, I have an elliptical. Sometimes I'd work out twice a day. Do you know what I did? I wrecked my metabolism, wrecked it, just ran it into the ground with all the cardio that I did and didn't realize that's what I was doing. And then after my mom passed a little bit more than 2 years ago, may she rest in peace, I decided to start lifting weights, not because of a weight loss component, because I wanted to build my bone density because she had low bone density and I have a weight machine. So I said, well, let me start lifting weights. It changed my life and blew me away. Once I started lifting weights, my weight plummeted. I lost 20 pounds within maybe 3 or 4 months. I didn't change my diet. I didn't do anything different. I actually reduced the amount of cardio I had done. This is in my 50s. I had been trying to figure out, well, how can I lose this extra 20 pounds because it wasn't budging? Strength training, that's how it dropped. I had changed. As a matter of fact, by that time I was eating more. Now I do have to eat more because now I've built so much muscle, I have to feed the muscle. And no, you're not going to get bulky. No, you're not going to end up looking like women you see who bodybuild. Those women work. I mean, they really put in the work. So unless you're putting in the work, and trust me, you're not, because your body won't let you. Unless you're really, really pushing, you're not. So strength training 3 times a week, that will blow your mind. And you won't have to do as much cardio. So now I strength train Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I do a circuit. I do my arms, core, and legs. So I do everything in one full body in one full swoop. So I don't separate. I don't do like legs one day, arms the next. I don't have the attention span to do all that. Whole body, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I do 45-minute cardio Tuesdays and Thursdays. It has reshaped my body. I have never seen my body look this good in my life. It looks better now in my 50s than it ever did in my 20s, 30s, and 40s. I love it. So that is number 4, which takes us to number 3, intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting really regulated my appetite. Sometimes I would feel so ravenous, I could eat an elephant. Have you ever had that feeling where you are craving carbs so desperately that you could inhale a whole box of Krispy Kreme? Yeah, I've been there. Intermittent fasting, and there's so many varieties. The top ones I'll talk about is you have 24, which is 20 hours fasting, a 4-hour feeding window. You have 18 hours fasting, 6-hour feeding window. And then you have OMAD, which is 1 meal a day. And then you have ADF, which is alternative day fasting, meaning that you eat every other day. And I'll do intermittent fasting in my next video. That's my next video coming up. So make sure you subscribe so you can get that video notification. But intermittent fasting, I love. Now, unfortunately, you don't want to do too much of a good thing. I started doing intermittent fasting back in the panini days. I don't know what we're supposed to call it now on YouTube, so I'm going to call it the panini days back in 2020. And I did it to an extreme. Like I would do 3, 4, I would go 5 days without food. And of course I lost lots of weight. However, my friends would have to call me and ask me, hey, Daph, did you eat today? And if they got the answer, they heard that pause, they would know, girl, if you don't go in there and get something to eat, so naturally I took it to an extreme, which is a no. That's not the purpose of intermittent fasting. You're not supposed to do it to an extreme all the time. So now I have a balance where I do intermittent fasting maybe twice a week. So I don't do it every day. So I urge people to start slowly and build up to it, but don't go directly into it. And of course, take your doctor's advice first. Don't do any of this stuff without checking with your doctor. I'm not a doctor, so go and check with your doctors first. So my next one, number 2, is cook 90% of your meals at home. I used to love going out. I love food. So I love going to restaurants and trying meals but here's the problem with that. Restaurants load your food with abandon with everything. Salt, sugar, fat. Which is wonderful. However, that's not good for your body. And it's the weight started piling on, and it was so subtle at first, but every time I got on the scale, and I weigh myself every day, so I would see, what? How did I gain 5 pounds in a week? And that was why I was going out to eat every single day. So cook 90% of your meals at home so you can see what you're physically putting in your food. You can literally replicate what you're eating, whether it's in a fast food or restaurant. You can replicate that recipe at home. Either Google it, go to the University of YouTube. You could do that and just make it. I'm not saying to go on a diet. Diets do not work because you cannot sustain yourself on it. Can you lose weight on a diet? Yes. Can you sustain yourself on a diet for the rest of your life? It's not realistic. I don't do diets. I hate diets. The first diet I was put on was Weight Watchers when I was 6 years old, and this is back in the 70s. Not cool. I am not an advocate of diets, nor will I ever be. I'm an advocate of living your best healthy life and doing things in moderation. If you want the cake, eat cake. If you want the chocolate, eat the chocolate. If you want the pizza, eat the pizza. Just don't do it every day. That's why I say diets don't work. And so moving forward in 2025, we are not going to do diets. We are in our 50s. We are grown folks. If you like what you hear so far, smash that like button to let YouTube know that we exist, please. And if you know someone who really needs to hear this information, please share this video with them because I really want to make sure this gets out. 2025 is going to be our year. It's going to be the year of ageless after 50. Where we are not conforming to diets and we are bucking against the establishment. No more diets. We're doing these instead. You've stayed till the end. I'm grateful and I'm appreciative. So without further ado, let's get to number 1, shall we? And number 1 is, drumroll please, eat protein first. No matter where you are, vacation, home, just traveling, you're on a break. Eat protein first. Let me tell you why. It regulates the spike of your blood sugar. It's going to satisfy you and it's going to control your hunger cravings later. You'll thank me later for this. Eat protein first. If you're a vegetarian, if you're a vegan, we all need protein. This does not have to be animal protein. Eat your protein first. Do not go to the cake first. Do not go to eat the protein first. Let that hit your stomach first. Then eat everything else. Finish your protein first. It will shock you how different that will make. It will make such a difference in your life. You'll be like, oh my gosh, thank you, Dav. My pleasure. So with that said, those are the top 5 things I want you to do moving forward in 2025 instead of dying. Add strategic supplements, strength training 3 times a week, intermittent fasting, cook 90% of your meals, and eat protein first. And because you stayed with me to the end, I have a gift for you. My free ebook that you can download below. The link will be in the description and in the first comment. My free book of how I broke free from dieting and found true freedom with food. It's all down in the description below, and it's from me to you as my thank you for staying to the end. So that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe and stay tuned for my next video about intermittent fasting. So until then, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you soon.